Next to the Middle East, the Israeli military has carried out a wave of attacks across the Gaza Strip, hitting targets in Gaza City, Rafah and Khan Yunis. These are the live pictures there from the Israel-Gaza border that you can see, just that black smoke rising in the distance there. A school sheltering displaced families and the Kamal Adwan Hospital in northern Gaza were among the sites reportedly hit. It comes as mediators try to secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Hamas officials say the deal is closer than ever if Israel doesn't impose new conditions. And we'll get more on that in a moment. First, let's go live to Jerusalem. Our correspondent Amir Nadir is standing by for us. First of all, just tell us what we know about these strikes overnight.
Well, yeah, there's been a series of Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, across the Gaza Strip, overnight and into the recent hours, and that includes a school that was housing displaced families in Gaza City, where we understand that 8 people were killed, including children. The civil defence forces there, the first responders who've got there, say they found children amongst the dead and pulled out bodies from the rubble. We reached out to the Israeli army, the Israeli military, about this particular set of strikes, and they said that school was, they said it was a command and control centre being used by Hamas. Now, that isn't the only location that has been struck in the past few hours. We know about 5 people being killed in strikes in Jabalia, including 4 children, 4 killed on a vehicle that was hit in Gaza City. And amongst those strikes, we understand that there are now 28 people killed overnight and into those recent hours, 28 Palestinians killed in the Gaza Strip. And all of this comes as we've been hearing since yesterday evening urgent, desperate pleas from the medical staff at the Kamal Adwan Hospital in the north of Gaza, which has been operating in very dire circumstances in the past weeks. And the medical staff there are saying that they are being directly targeted by the Israeli military in an unprecedented manner. They've said that they've been told to evacuate by the Israeli military, but they can't do so because it would put the over 80, 90 patients, their lives at risk, and also the lives of their staff are under risk. And in the recent hours, we've had a statement from the head of the World Health Organization, who said that the reports of the Israeli strikes on the Kamal Adwan Hospital and the evacuation order are deeply worrisome, and he's called for an immediate ceasefire in the vicinity of the hospital. The IDF hasn't yet commented on the operations around and on the hospital, though we have approached them.
These events, of course, unfolding as the background to all this. We've been covering and reporting these ceasefire talks. What is the latest on those?
Well, yes, the talks have been continuing in Qatar and in Egypt, and a senior Palestinian source has been speaking to the BBC, and we've been getting positive signals, talk of a ceasefire possibly happening in the next days, that we could be 90% of the way there. There are some sticking points around the names of the particular Palestinian prisoners who might be released in exchange for the Israeli hostages that will be released in the first stage of the ceasefire deal. There's also talk around a buffer zone being established around the Gaza Strip, inside of it, which the Israeli military would continue to have a presence there, and discussions, a bit of contention around whether the Israeli military would remain on the border section between Gaza and Egypt there. And there is also, we understand, a bit of detail about the way Gazan civilians will be able to return to the north of the Gaza Strip, where hundreds of thousands have been displaced from, and this would happen under the supervision of Egyptian and Qatari authorities. And finally, in terms of looking forward, we understand that the talks are involving the future governance of the Gaza Strip would involve a body of technocrats with no links to political affiliations or Hamas, but a Gazan sort of technocrat body that would take up the governance of Gaza going forward.
Amir, thank you for that.